Imagine waking up one morning, opening your phone, and seeing the headline, "Millions of jobs gone overnight as AI takes over." Your heart skips a beat. You think about your career, your skills, the years you've invested. And suddenly, a quiet but terrifying question creeps in: am I next? This fear isn't science fiction anymore. It's being whispered in offices, debated in classrooms, and argued about on social media every single day. Artificial intelligence is no longer coming, it's already here. It writes, analyzes, designs, drives, diagnoses, and even creates art. So the big question isn't whether AI is powerful. The real question is this: will AI actually steal your job, or is something else really happening beneath the headlines? Today we're cutting through the hype, the fear, and the clickbait. We're going to look directly at the data, the research, and the real-world evidence to understand what AI is truly doing to jobs, who is at risk, who isn't, and what this means for your future. And by the end of this video, you may realize the truth is far more complex and far more empowering than the headlines want you to believe. Let's start with an uncomfortable truth. Fear of job loss due to technology is nothing new. When mechanized looms appeared in the early 19th century, textile workers known as the Luddites destroyed machines because they believed technology would permanently eliminate their livelihoods. When electricity entered factories, workers feared mass unemployment. When computers entered offices in the late 20th century, many predicted the end of clerical work. Yet something unexpected kept happening. Jobs changed. New roles emerged, entire industries were born. But AI feels different. Unlike previous technologies, artificial intelligence doesn't just replace physical labor. It touches cognitive tasks, writing emails, analyzing data, answering questions, even making decisions. That's why this moment feels more personal, more threatening, and more immediate. To understand whether this fear is justified, we need to turn to real data, not speculation. One of the most cited studies on this topic comes from the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report. In its 2023 edition, the WF surveyed more than 800 companies employing over 11 million workers across 45 economies. The results are sobering but nuanced. According to the report, employers expect 23% of jobs to change by 2027 due to automation and AI. That includes both job creation and job displacement. Specifically, about 83 million jobs are expected to be eliminated, while 69 million new jobs are projected to be created. That's a net loss of around 14 million jobs globally, or about 2% of current employment. This number matters. It's not zero, and it's not catastrophic either. It suggests disruption, not collapse. The data shows that AI doesn't simply erase work, it reshapes it. But which jobs are actually at risk? Research from the OECD, which analyzed over 1,000 job tasks across developed economies, found that only about 9% of jobs are highly automatable using existing AI technologies. That means jobs that can be almost entirely performed by machines without human intervention. Most jobs fall into a different category. They include tasks that can be automated, but also tasks that require human judgment, creativity, emotional intelligence, or physical presence. In other words, AI tends to replace tasks, not entire jobs. For example, accountants now use AI-driven software to automate data entry and error detection. But the role of the accountant hasn't disappeared. Instead, it has shifted toward analysis, strategy, and advisory work. The same pattern appears in journalism, marketing, medicine, law, and engineering. AI handles repetitive or data-heavy tasks, while humans focus on interpretation, decision-making, and human interaction. This distinction is critical. The future of work is less about job extinction and more about job evolution. That said, not all workers are affected equally. A 2023 study by economists David Otter, David Mindell, and Elizabeth Reynolds at MIT found that middle-skill, routine-based jobs are the most vulnerable. These include roles that involve predictable tasks, such as data processing, basic bookkeeping, or repetitive administrative work. At the same time, high-skill jobs that require complex problem-solving and low-skill jobs that require physical presence or interpersonal interaction, such as caregiving, maintenance, or food service, are less exposed to automation in the short term. This creates what economists call job polarization. Growth occurs at the top and bottom of the skill ladder, while the middle becomes compressed. But even here, the story isn't purely negative. History shows that workers who adapt their skills tend to move upward rather than disappear. Now let's address one of the most common, fierce white-collar jobs. AI systems like large language models can write reports, generate code, and analyze legal documents. This has led many to believe that office jobs are about to vanish en masse. The data tells a different story. A 2023 analysis by Goldman Sachs estimated that AI could expose up to 300 million full-time jobs globally to automation. But exposure does not mean replacement. In fact, the same report concluded that most affected jobs would be partially automated, not eliminated, leading to productivity gains rather than unemployment. Goldman Sachs also projected that AI-driven productivity growth could increase global GDP by up to 7% over a decade. Historically, productivity growth has been associated with higher wages and new job creation, not long-term unemployment. The key question becomes who captures those gains. This is where inequality enters the conversation. Research from the International Labor Organization shows that without deliberate policy intervention, AI adoption can widen income gaps. Highly skilled workers who know how to leverage AI tools become more productive and more valuable. Workers who lack access to training risk falling behind. This isn't a technology problem. It's a policy and education problem. Countries that invest in reskilling programs, vocational training, and lifelong learning consistently experience better labor market outcomes during technological transitions. Denmark, Singapore, and Germany are frequently cited examples, combining automation with strong worker protections and training initiatives. The data is clear. AI does not inevitably lead to mass unemployment, but unmanaged AI adoption can absolutely increase inequality. Another myth we need to address is speed. Social media often suggests that AI is advancing so fast that humans won't have time to adapt. In reality, large-scale economic transitions take time. A detailed study by the McKinsey Global Institute found that while up to 50% of work activities could be automated, it would likely take decades, not years, for full adoption. Due to costs, regulation, organizational resistance, and the need for human oversight, technology may advance quickly in labs, but real-world deployment is slower. Companies don't replace entire workforces overnight. They experiment, integrate gradually, and adapt based on results. This time lag is crucial. It creates space for workers, educators, and institutions to respond. Let's talk about what's actually growing. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, jobs related to data science, AI development, cybersecurity, healthcare, renewable energy, and human services are projected to grow significantly through the 2030s. Healthcare is particularly telling. Despite advances in AI diagnostics and automation, demand for nurses, caregivers, and medical technicians continues to rise due to aging populations. AI supports these roles, it doesn't replace them. Similarly, education, mental health services, and skilled trades show resilience because they rely heavily on human trust, physical presence, and social interaction, areas where AI still struggles. The future economy is not purely digital, it's hybrid. So where does that leave you? The most consistent finding across all major studies is this: workers who adapt survive, and workers who learn thrive. A longitudinal study by the National Bureau of Economic Research found that workers who changed tasks or acquired new skills after automation shocks experienced significantly better long-term earnings than those who resisted change. This doesn't mean everyone needs to become a programmer. In fact, many of the most resilient skills are deeply human: communication, critical thinking, creativity, leadership, and adaptability. AI is exceptional at pattern recognition and speed. Humans remain unmatched at context, ethics, empathy, and meaning. The safest career strategy isn't competing with AI, it's learning how to work alongside it. And whether that change hurts or helps you depends largely on how prepared you are to adapt. History, economics, and current research all point in the same direction. Technology reshapes work, but humans remain essential, not in spite of AI, but because of it. The future of work isn't about humans versus machines. It's about humans with machines. And that brings us to the most important takeaway. Fear is understandable, but fear alone is not a strategy. Understanding the data gives you power. Learning new skills gives you leverage. Staying curious gives you resilience. And if you want to stay ahead in a world that's changing faster than ever, this channel is here to help. If you found this video valuable, take a moment to like it. It helps more people see balanced, research-driven content like this. Subscribe to the channel if you want to keep exploring the real stories behind technology, work, and the future we're all stepping into together. Because the future isn't written by algorithms alone. It's shaped by the choices we make, starting now.